This video is about the system. A lot of people grew up in the system. Most of the homeless people grew up in the system. The juvenile system. When they became adults, they hit the streets without ID, without anything but the shoes on their feet and the clothes on their back, literally, like I was. And you don't have anything at all. You don't. You've got your pockets and they're empty. I busted my ass though, and I had a lot of good people help me out. At least help me out the best they could, but they were all broke. A lot of them, they ended up spending all their money taking care of spouses who were addicted to something or another. When I was a kid, most of the kids that I was locked up with, whether it be in a foster home or a group home or Mount St. Vincent's or Fort Logan or Centennial Peaks, which is in Boulder County. That's where it all started for me. The people getting in the doorway and strapping me down and shooting drugs into me for telling. They say to tell an adult, no, you fucking better not. That's what they taught me. You better not tell an adult. You better not tell anybody or you'll get punished. You're in the system, so you must be the bad guy. You're in the system, so you must be wrong. I wasn't in the system for things that I did. I was in the system for things that were done to me. Just like with Natalie. Natalie was in the system because her parents weren't suitable parents. They weren't fit parents. That's why Natalie and Alicia ended up in the system, and that's the reason that I ended up in the system. But they're girls. They had a lot more help. They were pretty. They had a lot more people that cared. A lot more people that wanted their attention. Were willing to pay those drugs in order to get that attention. But I wasn't like that. Then all these people that are like that, they accuse me of being that man, being that person. Prove it. It is my right as an American to face my goddamn accusers, you fucking bastards. Meanwhile, the things that were done to me were used to prevent me from having an honest day in court. I never had an honest day in court in any of that fucking goddamn bullshit. And they kept using the other shit to prevent me from having an honest goddamn court date. Not one public pretender would take a look at the evidence. Not one friend would take a look at the evidence. Even the ones who claimed that they would. They couldn't take the time. And their reasons are heartbreaking. And I'm angry because I can't get the help because everybody who wants to help me is either sick or dying or already dead. Or they have actual family that's dying or died. And they're allowed to mourn, but I'm not. I'm not allowed to mourn about my grandma. Or Natalie. Or Janine. But Natalie and Alicia Bollinger, their family, they're fucking evil. That's why people end up in the system. People are inherently evil, not good. But I do find good people. Natalie was a good person. To me, anyway. People took it upon their own initiative to harm me in the name of Natalie. Jesus, I'm sure, knows what that feels like. Oh, you're going to go murder people in my name. Yes, thank you for showing me how much you love me. Meanwhile, hundreds of people threatened my life. And the cops wouldn't take a look. The only time that I got the cops to take a look is when somebody did what I asked. When Molly Smith went in with me to make Officer Jared Hahn take my report about Ted Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger and the shit they pulled at my grandmother's funeral. That had happened months earlier. One of their fellow officers failed to make a report about that 911 call because he didn't take it seriously. Over the words of Michael Ignatius Graham, whatever his real name is, Tabitha Cook's boyfriend. I like the guy, he's nice, but he's stupid. Amanda's nice too, but she's vindictive and she's stupid. Her mom's smart and vindictive. If I was going to learn how to manipulate people, I would learn from somebody like my mother or Lana Engeline. Or Jamie Curtis. They're all very good at it. I would not try to learn from Amanda Engeline. She doesn't know shit about the system either, though. Most of these people have never lived it. They don't understand. They talk about all these free services, and you go there as a man, and you're denied all of them. My dad wouldn't help me because his personal opinion was that I wasn't trying to get disability, and I should have been on disability. I should have never been part of the workforce. They're not just going to hand me disability, Dad. I'm fucking homeless. I'm being hounded by the police almost nightly. I have to be worried about the public deciding they want to go bum bashing and try to smash my skull in with a rock like they did Christopher Weaver. Years of this while I'm working. Real jobs, actual jobs. Getting ripped off by my own family, which is why I stayed away from them. Between the age of 18 and last December, my dad literally had done jack shit for me. Nothing. At the age of 18, he sent me a pack of M&Ms and a card. I am grateful for that. There's a lot of people don't have dads. And it wasn't like an actual card. It was just a piece of paper he wrote on and folded up. And he sent it to me at Pine Ridge Job Corps Center, where I was learning carpentry. It's difficult for me. I don't understand why you guys have to lie and manipulate. All I want to be able to do is go into a courtroom and show all of the shit that these people put me through. Starting at a very young age, I spoke out about them doing this to me as a child before Natalie was killed. I spoke out about what Lana and Amanda and Miss Jerry did before Natalie was killed. I spoke out about what happened in Virginia before Natalie was killed. I was trying. People keep trying to get my Facebook shut down. It's full of evidence. It's no wonder. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get Facebook petitions so they have to release everything from those Facebook groups to show these people what's really going on. Obviously, the things that I've said about the cops are true. Repeatedly, in the last year, over 100 cases against police officers for their brutality, just in the state of Colorado. On the news. And you want us to go to these people who hunt us like animals and tell them what's going on. And I told you how they treat us when you tell them what's going on. That's why we need somebody in a house to go in with us. Or they're not going to take a report. They will do everything in their power not to take a goddamn report. Meanwhile, I'm still being threatened and assaulted and cannot see my loved ones. You have any idea how difficult that is for a fucking child? I was put into the system at 4 years of age. 4! Because my dad couldn't stay off the cocaine and ended up in prison here in Wyoming for 38 counts of cocaine possession with intent to sell. My mother couldn't have us because she kept on getting on and off of court-ordered rehab for a cocaine addiction. A lot of people I care about have cocaine addictions. Amanda Payne has a cocaine addiction. Alicia does too. My mom does. My mom's cocaine addiction is fucking terrible. But these other people, they also have their own addictions. And everybody who has an addiction is selfish. These people who offer to help me, most of them, I spent my time helping them. Because of everything that I was doing to help myself, they found offensive. Or just assumed I was doing something else. Instead of finding out for themselves. Instead of stopping and taking a look. Lana Engeline from day one didn't want to look at any of it. And Amanda Engeline, she helped me as best as she could. But they pulled a lot of fucked up shit. A lot of head games. And that's the thing, those head games are destructive. You fuck with men's emotions, and they go out and they kill people. And then you blame the gun. No, people with poor impulse control, those are the people who kill people. Police officers who are used to harassing and stalking and harming homeless people, yeah. They'll do whatever the fuck they want to you because they know they can get away with it. With Zaid Atkinson, he was a black man in a house, so Black Lives Matters. They got involved. And I want you to know something. Most of the kids I grew up with were minorities. That racist bullshit is true. It's all true. The police do stereotype. They do try to find in-specific minorities because they're easy to railroad. You just assume that their daddy was a crackhead. You just assume that their daddy was a this or their daddy was a that and probably wasn't around. You just assume their mom's into drugs. And in some cases they are. Just like with my parents. In Natalie's case, she ended up in the system because her daddy couldn't keep his hands to himself. I was prevented from defending myself in a court of law repeatedly. I was prevented from defending myself by the media. They had no problem slandering my name or assaulting the fuck out of me, or misleading people to the point that I was assaulted. Misleading, that's the big one right there. Misleading. That's what the system is. It's your money that's supposed to be going to programs to help out children and help out single moms. And instead you're using it to victimize them into homelessness and then victimize them for being homeless. A lot of the people that claim they were diehard and were going to help, like Christine Buhit, she ended up getting housing. Imagine that. They gave her a roof over her head and she folded. She said, "Oh, I got what I wanted. I got to spend my youth fucking around. Got to do a bunch of heroin and do a lot of stuff that probably was not intelligent of me, and now I get a roof over my head for it." Meanwhile, there's people like me who worked while we were homeless. We didn't do the heroin or the meth. Most of the people in the system as adults grew up in the system as children. It's that start that you have right at the breaking point, right at 18. Because if you don't have a vehicle and an ID and a job right then and there, you start becoming less of a human being by the day. People treat you more shitty. You don't have a razor to shave with. You don't have an ID to get a job with. You don't have a birth certificate. And most of what you know is racism in the system as a child. A system I was a part of, and Natalie was a part of, Danica was a part of, Shelley was a part of. Most of those people realize that nobody's ever going to love them right. So they delve into the drugs. They get real heavy into